Hello guys, and welcome to my Mazda RX8 channel. As you guys may know, I recently bought myself a Mazda RX8 that does not want to start. This is a 6-speed manual transmission Mazda RX8. It's been sitting for a couple years, and because it was sitting, there's a good possibility there's some rust buildup on the walls where the apex seals are, where they spin in the actual chamber, because two spark plugs was removed, so there's a good chance that condensation got in. It probably has weakened the springs on the apex seals, and what I want to do is I want to be able to make those springs work again on the apex seals. So what I'm going to do is actually put some oil inside. This is actually a full synthetic 15W40. Actually, I believe it's like 5W40, but it does not really matter at this point. This is actually a Mercedes full synthetic type of oil, and I'm putting it using turkey baster. First, I'm going to just add it to the two leading spark plug holes. Then I'm actually going to add it to the two trailing. So in this video, I want to give you my thoughts in what I'm kind of thinking is going on and just some of the things that's going through my mind. Already I have many ideas into how to resolve this starting issue. Possibly you're having a starting issue, and in this video with my thoughts, I'm going to try to go over some of the problems that I'm having. If you're having the same type of problems, then continue watching my videos. Subscribe to my channel to keep an eye on what I'm gonna do to solve this issue. Because guys, believe it or not, I will find what's wrong with it. This is how I am. I don't give up. I always just keep going and going and going at it. This is why right now it's night, and here I am making a video for you guys. I'm working on my Mazda RX8, trying to get it started. But anyways, guys, here are my thoughts. The fact that I'm starting things right now with apex seals slightly lubricated with oil, I do have a good feeling about that. So if I go to, sleep overnight, maybe it had time to sit, that might help things. Obviously, we have an issue with a very slow spinning starter. At some point, the starter felt like it was spinning faster, even though the battery should have been kind of dying at that point, but it was actually spinning somewhat faster, which is a little bit surprising. But that being said, guys, I do have another starter, which is on my Mazda RX-8 that's automatic. And if this car does not start today at night, then tomorrow I'm going to end up pulling that starter from mine, even though it's like I really don't like to pull parts that is, not broken. But hey, I'm just going to borrow it. I'm going to put it on this Mazda RX-8, and I want to see if it starts up, see if the starter spins about the same. Because on my Mazda RX-8, well, this is both my Mazda RX-8, but on my first Mazda RX-8, which is automatic, that starter actually spins quite fast. So maybe it was upgraded type of a starter, which would be good. Now, this starter here, I doubt that it's been upgraded. This seems to be probably original starter that's on this car. Why do I think that? Well, this car, first of all, was not paid off, so somebody was just paying this off to the dealer, probably some used car dealer, probably buy here pay here type of dealer. And since he did not pay it off and then got the car repoed, I mean, if you think about it, how much money did he really have to invest in this car? So he's probably using a lot of hand-me-downs, like including the rims and probably the tires and stuff that's on it. That's probably like he probably bought them used and paid very little money. And then instead of having a full exhaust system, he does not even have an aftermarket muffler. He just got some exhaust tips. I could see that it's still an old catalytic converter. I mean, this probably never had solenoids replaced. I mean, there's probably some problems with solenoids. I mean, that remains to be seen. The thing about it is, I think since it's been sitting for 2 years with a dead battery, some of the codes probably cleared out of the system. And since I was actually trying to start this car bunch of times, I think it kind of did save some codes, which was crankshaft position codes, and I read it before disconnecting the battery. So I think these codes are fresh. So I got two crankshaft position codes. Um, and as you've seen in the last video, I lifted up the car, I went underneath, and I found that this crankshaft position sensor, which is also called eccentric position sensor, on the Mazda RX8, because it's kind of like outside, it's probably why it's called like that. And it was loose, guys. It was loose. So the bolt was loose, so that means it was not properly gapped. It was actually very far away from that wheel that spins, with some teeth on it that could count. So I think because of that, I mean, why would this car start? Just because of that. Like, it's plugged in, but it's not all the way tight. So things need to be precise, if you're doing that. But anyways, right now it's kind of hard for me to decide what to do, because the battery that I was using earlier still not fully charged. That battery wasn't charged, and it's showing that it's being charged. It's not fully charged. And the one that's in here now was the one that was fully charged, and I kind of started using it last. So I really don't know what to do. So I really can't do anything about having a good, strong battery, because I only have two that's fully charged. I have many batteries, guys. There is one thing that I could do, though. I have a massive battery, which is like a H8 type of battery. I could attempt to hooking that battery up. Now that thing is massive. It's got like massive cranking amps. So I might attempt to actually hook the thing up, but it's not gonna fit in the battery box. So most likely it's gonna be kind of fitting sideways. But I'm gonna attempt to do that. But before attempting anything else, I've been having that 200 amp boost all this time while I'm talking to you guys. So let's try this again. But before I try this again, guys, I just wanted to tell you guys, sorry. I don't mean to drag this thing out. Believe me, guys. I wish I could get this thing started like right away. The only reason I'm really making the video of the entire process, so you can see that, hey, he is going to this problem right now, which I am, and will he be able to solve this problem? Because this is a Mazda RX8 channel. This is what I do. I'll be posting a bunch of content to this channel, and I'm never going away. It's constantly gonna have a build-up of Mazda RX8 type of content, and rotary type of content, and any kind of like Mazda RX8 builds and stuff like that. And I'm able to do that. Not that I'm a master of doing it, but thank God, in my situation, basically, man, I don't even want to say that, because it's gonna sound like I'm bragging, but I'm just gonna go ahead and say it anyways. I basically have everything paid for. Everything's paid off, like including my two properties that I have, and my home. Everything's paid for. So I'm not some kid that's spending his last dime trying to get his Mazda RX-8 started. Okay, but I'm still in that type of mindset where, hey, I like these type of cars. I enjoy them. I don't care that it's old. To me, I think this is going to be the next classic. I mean, look what happened to the Mazda RX-7s. I mean, it's pretty much the same engine, with a turbo on it. I know it's not the same because it's a high compression engine. That one's kind of like not, but it's a 13B engine, so, but basically, guys, those cars they went through the roof, the RX-7s. They're like over 100 grand now, some of them. So some examples are selling, for 40, 50, 60, but man, I already seen some that go for like 120 at auctions. So I think RX-8s is definitely making a comeback. I think it's starting to grow on people. And I mean, shoot, it's growing on me. I'm sure it's growing on you if you guys watching this channel. I already been seeing some videos, guys, like I'm talking about, like on short videos, like Instagram and YouTube, and there's a lot of really nice Mazda RX-8s out there. Like, they're nice, and people are enjoying them, and I think it won't be long before you really can't find a Mazda RX-8, and the reason is A lot of people gave up on them and they junk them, and they just, they're sitting in somebody's yard. And before you know, those are going to get scooped up, and then there won't be, any more Mazda RX-8s to be found. Just like, what happened to the Toyota Supras and everything else. I mean, even like the S2000s are hard to find, like bunch of stuff. Like, I mean, I don't want to just go through and start naming a bunch of cars, guys, but you know what I'm talking about. Some of these cars, after a while, they become classics. And, it's not that they're 25 years old, but I mean, shoot, like this car's almost 20 years old technically, but that being said, guys, because Mazda RX-8 was having some issues in the beginning, not being fuel efficient, not that many of them was sold. I mean, a lot of them was sold, don't get me wrong. And this is probably why, you know, Mazda RX-8, was the last model to be made for now. I mean, there's going to be like a Mazda RX-9, I guess, coming out. But still, I think once maybe the new model comes out, it's always kind of like that. And people still looking at the older model. Like, oh, yeah, RX-7, was better than the RX-8. And then they're going to see the RX-9. They'll be like thinking, well, RX-8 was great. And people are going to start looking for the RX-8s. And maybe part of the reason that's going to be is because when they're gonna see the RX 9 prices, they're still gonna want to be in the rotary scene, and they're gonna try to see what's out there, and they're gonna look at the RX 7. They're like, well, this is not affordable. RX 9 is not affordable. What's affordable? They're gonna look at the RX 8s, and guess what? Bunch of people's gonna go out there and they're gonna buy them, especially if they learn how to work on them and they're gonna fix on them. Through like my videos and bunch of videos on YouTube, there's a bunch of people focusing on this subject. I mean, when I say bunch, there's a lot. It's not a crazy amount, but that's already enough. Because just think about it, guys. I mean, this is something that I was thinking about already for like months. You know, let's say I'm new to the Mazda RX-8, which I am, but I'm a mechanic. I'm a car guy, so I will find what's wrong. But most people that are new and they're not mechanics and their car's not starting, what do you think is gonna happen? They're just gonna think that, they're gonna go, let's say, to a mechanic, and they're gonna say, well, you need a rebuild. Maybe they done a compression test, maybe they didn't, maybe they just want to make some extra money. They're gonna say, look, you're gonna need a rebuild and it's gonna cost you X amount of dollars. And if it's some kid that don't have that much money, he's gonna be like, oh, that's not for me, so he's gonna get out of it. And that's how these things get abandoned. But then through videos like this, you might be looking at it and be like thinking, you know what? I got rid of mine. It wasn't starting. What if mine had exactly the same, problem? What if I could have just gotten mine started, through using some of these tricks? And I just think that this is going to happen because, look, my automatic that I bought wasn't starting. I got it started. And then I had more problems that it wasn't starting, that I got it started. And then I thought, finally, that's it. My engine's dead. Like a little was thinking that, and I am a mechanic because, man, I was about to like not give up, but like I felt that it's probably time for a rebuild. It just wasn't starting. Like it seemed like it would never start. And I think this is what's going on with many people. Like they just had it, they're trying to get this thing started, it just does not start. And they're thinking, well, it's done. Apex seals, they're not sealing up. And because they're not sealing up, well, it means you need a rebuild, basically. So people just give up on it, and then maybe just park it somewhere in the backyard, and they never look at it again. Because I mean, it's like something's gonna change. Maybe they're saving up some money for Apex seals, and maybe they buy some, and then maybe they just get rid of that car for cheap, and maybe include some Apex seals to go along with it, and they just give up on a project altogether. But I think, guys, a lot of these cars, they get misdiagnosed, and people give up on them, and that's why they're parked somewhere in somebody's yard. They're just not starting. Just like this one, I think some smart people probably owned it afterwards. The dealer owned it. I'm sure he had his mechanic look at it, because the dealer did claim a total loss on this car, which gave me a salvage title. And then another person had it, which they probably tried to get it started. They couldn't get it started. They just gave up. Everybody gives up. And then people will make excuses, and they're going to just get rid of the car. But I think 2 years, I just don't know if it's just been sitting for 2 years, you know? Like, I think somebody tried to do something. I mean, after all, I could see the evidence of it. I mean, people did mess with it. Maybe they didn't, but apparently somebody did, because stuff was taken apart. But anyways, guys, I think some of this information that I'm talking about is probably interesting, maybe boring to some of you guys, but let's just gonna try to get this car started again, see if that works. I know one thing is, it's a lot more alive than it was. So here's what I'm gonna do, guys. I'm going to go ahead and just let it sit. I'm gonna remove the other two plugs. I'm gonna oil them up, stick them in there, try it again.